get into this.
Good to go. Awesome.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome again. Thank you so much for being here with us today for our That Clean Life walkthrough. Ashley and I have never done anything like this before, so this is totally new. Thanks for supporting us in this. We really wanted to just bring everybody together today because we know there's a lot going on in the world. So first things first, guys, how is everybody doing? How is your business being affected by this? How are you feeling? What's it like where you are? Let us know in the chat box if you're here with us on Zoom or Facebook. Leave us a comment and let us know kind of how you're feeling about things and, you know, where you kind of sit right now. Our hope is that this can bring you some inspiration. Our big win is that we still see so many of you guys logging into That Clean Life every day and using the platform to build nutrition plans. So we know that a lot of you guys are still working, which we love. We really feel strongly that this is not the time to throw in the towel or put your business on hold. People need health support more right now than ever before. People are at home. Their routines have been totally flipped upside down. A lot of people don't know what to make. You know, they only have access to non-perishable foods. So this is a time when you can really pull through for your clients, stand up and kind of lead and show them the way. So we hope you guys are feeling ready to do that. And that's what this webinar is all about. We're going to show you how you can do that and how you can support your clients online using That Clean Life to provide them with awesome resources. So let's see how you guys are doing. I'm going to turn over to the chat here. I see Sue actually saying in some ways it's great for business. So that's really good. What else do we have here? Rayanne saying she's doing pretty well. She's trying to offer more value to not lose anyone. Lots of online meetings happening. Awesome. We love that. How many of you guys are starting to see clients more so online? Probably all of you, which is really great. Jerry says she's still getting clients. Amazing. Heather saying I need to pivot online fully and fast. Okay, we can definitely help with that. Tammy, you're saying business is super slow right now. That's totally normal. We're hearing that from a lot of you guys too. So no matter where you fall on the spectrum, like I said, we're hoping that we can bring you lots of inspiration today of how to use That Clean Life to attract new clients, engage your current clients, keep them on board with you until you can kind of see them in person again, if that's what you used to do. So are you guys ready to get into this? I hope you are. We have lots of people out live today, so thank you guys all for coming out again. If you guys are ready to get into this and kind of want to have a walkthrough of That Clean Life, let's hear a yes in the chat so we know we're ready to continue. Okay, cool. So many yeses. You see those, Ash? That's crazy. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ashley because Ashley's going to walk you through That Clean Life. That's what today is all about, kind of showing you through That Clean Life, seeing how you can use it to serve clients online. So she's going to give you the royal tour. If you have any questions as we go along here, drop those into the chat box. Ashley won't be looking there, but I can pass them on to her. So if at any point you're ever confused about anything, please, there's no such thing as a silly question. We want to make sure you get the most out of this session today. So ask away. That's what we're here for. So without further ado, Ashley, why don't you take it away and take us right into That Clean Life?
All right, guys. First, obviously, I'm so curious to know who we have out that's already a member of That Clean Life versus if you are not. So maybe just let us know in the chat. Yes, if you're a member. No, if you're not a member. Either way, we're going to be sharing all of the features that you care about most during this time of needing to see clients online. Whether you are a member, you're going to probably learn something new because we've got tons of features we always find that you guys aren't using. And if you're not a member, then welcome to That Clean Life. This might be your first time taking an inside look. So first things first, I just want to make it super clear for those of you guys who don't have memberships yet that when you first log into That Clean Life, we take you through a little setup wizard. And one of the first things that you do to set up your account is you upload your logo and your business info. So you only have to do this one time, and then everything that you create with That Clean Life for the rest of your life is going to have your branding on it. So you can see I've got my logo in, company name, email address, and website. So I'm not going to do that anymore. That's saved. That's good to go. So let me introduce you guys to our recipe database right now. So one of the best things about That Clean Life is that we basically host a living, breathing cookbook. So we have a whole team of recipe developers that are constantly working away, creating new recipes. Every single recipe you find in our database is tested, photographed, created in-house. So if you ever have questions about any of the recipes, we can answer them because we created them. Oh, right now we have over 1,600 recipes and we add new recipes every single week. So a lot of different recipes to choose from, which means that having really powerful tools to sort through the recipes is important. So we give you a ton of different ways to find exactly what you are looking for with our recipe filters, whether you're looking for recipes that take a certain amount of time. Maybe your clients do not like to cook or are always on the go and you know they're not going to spend more than 15 minutes or 30 minutes creating a recipe. You can search for recipes that fit within their time requirements. Same with the number of ingredients. Like we all love a good 5-ingredient recipe. So if you're looking for recipes with a small number of ingredients, you can easily pull those out. And then all of our recipes are also tagged. So this will save you guys a ton of time if you are working with clients who have any dietary restrictions. So we've got your basics like gluten-free, egg-free, dairy-free. You can search by meal type, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, healthy desserts. And then a little bit more of the complex cases. So if you need low FODMAP, low glycemic, low histamine recipes, we've got you covered there as well. If for some reason you can't find a tag that covers what you're looking for, no problem. You can create your own search. So if your client has a sensitivity to a food like hemp seeds that might not be included in one of our tags, you can make sure that you're searching for recipes that don't contain hemp seeds. On the flip side, if you're looking for a recipe with an ingredient that you're always trying to get your clients to eat more of, for me, that's sardines. I just think sardines are like the healthiest, most underrated, sustainable protein. So you could search for a recipe that contains a specific ingredient as well. And then we give you a whole other set of filters related to specific nutrition requirements. So if you're meal planning for clients within specific macro ranges, you can search for calories, carbs, fat, protein, as well as any nutrients of interest. So for today, I'm actually going to use an example that I think we probably are all talking about a lot right now as nutrition professionals, which is nutrients that support a healthy immune response. So I'm going to look for recipes.
That question has already come up twice in the chat, so I'm glad that you're going to cover this. We have a question about choosing recipes specifically for immune boosting. And there was another one, somebody else. Oh, Kira said, I agree. She's looking for immune health recipes too. So
perfect. Okay, well, lucky for you guys, I can actually see the future. So I already planned to talk all about this. So let's say we're looking for recipes that support, our immune boosting or immune supportive. We don't have a specific tag for that, but you guys know the nutrients that support a healthy immune response. So for example, you could search for recipes that have minimum 1,000 units of vitamin A, minimum of maybe like 30, 40 milligrams of vitamin C. What else is good? Zinc for immune system. So you could search for minerals. Let's look for recipes that contain at least 3 milligrams of zinc per serving. Vitamin B6, that's also a solid immune boosting nutrient, important for immune function. So we're going to search for recipes that are high in B6 as well. So based on those nutrition parameters that I just added, we're going to look at only the recipes in our database that are high in vitamin A, C, B6, and zinc. So from here, you can do a couple of different things. First, you could create a full recipe or a full meal plan for an existing client or a new client or any client that's reaching out to you with concerns about their immune system right now. So I've actually already started a meal plan over here called Ava's Immune Supportive Meal Plan. And I've started adding recipes that fit this criteria. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do that. So let's say we're looking for a recipe for Ava that meets all of those nutrient requirements that I've already added, and that is specifically a breakfast recipe. So now we are going to see a couple different breakfast options for Ava, and I'm going to add this beef, sweet potato, and rapini skillet to her meal plan. This is a great recipe. So you can see it makes 4 servings. I'm going to have her make 3 servings, so she has leftovers for a couple days. And Ava's got enough to worry about because her kids are home and she hasn't had daycare in weeks, so she doesn't need to be waking up and cooking breakfast every day. So I'm going to add that recipe, 3 servings, to her meal plan. And then on the actual meal plan, I'm going to mark the 2nd and 3rd day as leftovers. So one of the first things that you're going to notice when you look at our actual planner view is that some of these recipes are grayed out. And as you just saw, that grayed out indicates that it's a leftover recipe. So in the case of this beef sweet potato and rapini skillet, I have scheduled 3 servings and she's got leftovers for 2 days. Now, if Ava was cooking breakfast for her whole family or her kids, we could always have her make maybe 6 servings. So if that would be for 2 people, we could go 9 servings, and then that would be enough people for 3 days with 3 people eating every day. The sky's really the limit there in terms of customization. Another thing that you might notice is on some of these days and some of these slots, there's 2 recipes. So with that Clean Life, you can add a side dish to any meal. So up top, you'll notice the nutrition information is being calculated for every recipe that's on the meal plan for that day. So if I wanted Ava to add a little bit more protein to this snack of mangoes, which mango's awesome, it's high in vitamin C, it's high in vitamin A, but I want her to have a little bit more of that blood sugar balancing. So I'm going to add a side dish of, not hair-boiled eggs. That sounds awful.
That'd be gross.
Hard-boiled eggs. So again, I can have Ava make several servings of this just to have on hand. So I'm going to have her make 3 servings of hard-boiled eggs. And then I'm going to add those as sides to her morning snack on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, marking that as a leftover.
So Melody had a question. Can you go over again how to identify a leftover day? So hopefully that made it a bit clearer. Monday, so you can see that Ashley added the hard-boiled eggs Monday for a snack. She's going to make them all on the Monday and then mark the next days as leftovers. So when you add it to your meal plan that first time, you'll want to make sure that you set it to have enough servings that you'll have leftovers.
And that's important because all of the meal plans that you create in that Clean Life automatically have a grocery list calculated to go along with them. So you want to make sure that you're scheduling the right number of servings and you're using leftovers properly so that when Ava gets her grocery list, it's only going to contain the ingredients that she has to buy at the store, not too much, so there's no food waste, and definitely enough. So she's not going to buy only 1 mango when she actually needs about 3 mangoes for this week. Another good example of that is you can see on Tuesday night, I've scheduled this tofu and veggie stir fry. And then if you look at Wednesday lunch, you can see it's the same recipe grayed out. So that's how you use leftovers. If you don't want your client to cook, then make sure that you schedule an extra serving when they did cook and that you mark the next serving as a leftover. Hopefully that clarifies.
Yeah, and there's another question from Marla about portions. So Ashley just set the serving sizes, but do you want to go over portions too? If a recipe doesn't have enough calories and you need to increase that?
Yeah, let's take a look at maybe these cabbage egg nests. So this recipe only has about 200 calories per serving, which is not a lot for anyone really. So you could schedule a side dish, but another thing that you could do is just ask her to eat double. So I could schedule 2 servings and then 2 portions for Ava. So in this case, oops, I have to save the, so I'm increasing it from 1 serving to 2 servings. And then I'm going to increase the number of portions that she's eating from 1 portion to 2 portions. And if you're going to be doing it this way, then as you just saw, you can't schedule 2 portions if you haven't indicated 2 servings. So it's pretty much impossible to get this wrong, but you can increase the portions by half. So if I wanted her to have 2 servings, which would be whatever, 2 cups of cabbage and 4 eggs, that would be 2 servings. But if I only want her to have 3 eggs, I could ask her to eat 1.5 servings as well. And you guys can see every time I make any type of change here, the nutrition information up at the top for that day is automatically updating as well. Another thing that's really important to remember is that I'm going to remove my filters that I've added here. You don't have to leave any of the recipes as they are created. So if you wanted to make changes to a recipe to increase the vitamin C content or increase the vitamin A content or change around the macros, you can definitely do that. So let's take a look at this pressure cooker chicken curry with rice, for example. Maybe you have a client who's on a lower carb diet, or maybe you're just trying to get more veggies into your clients to support their immune system. We're gonna make a version of this recipe that instead of using brown rice, uses cauliflower rice. So pressure cooker chicken curry with cauliflower rice. Cauliflower rice is awesome. I don't know about where you guys live, but here in Toronto, you can easily get it frozen. So this is something your clients can be stocking up on right now in their freezer, since they might not always have access to fresh cauliflower or be able to run to the store to grab new cauliflower. So I'm going to play with this brown rice ingredient. I'm going to actually change it to cauliflower rice. And this is an ingredient that we already have in our database here at That Clean Life, so I don't really have to do much other than double check the quantity. 1 cup of dried brown rice. Actually, maybe you guys can let me know in the chat box. I think rice triples in volume when it's cooked, so that would be equivalent to about 3 cups cooked. So I'm going to put 3 cups of cauliflower rice. Actually, maybe we'll put 4 cups, just in case. We've got 4 servings, so 1 cup per serving. And then as you guys can see on the right-hand side, this nutrition information always updates in real time. So those carbs just went way down. And then the last step here is just gonna be to remove the steps that refer to cooking the rice. So I'm gonna delete this. And if you were doing this for a client, you might also want to add a step at the end that says saute the cauliflower rice, or you might just want them to serve over the raw cauliflower rice, keep all that vitamin C nice and intact. Whatever you want to do, you could add that step and then save the recipe. And now this is going to be saved forever in your recipe box. So lots of flexibility to be modifying the recipes. If something almost works for your client, or if you want to make a little change to it, you can definitely do that.
I just want to stop you there for a sec, Ashley. We had a question about when you edit a recipe, where does it go? So Ashley just kind of mentioned, once you make modifications to a recipe and you click save, that recipe gets saved, whatever modifications you made, as a copy into your personal recipe box. So that way it retains a copy of the original recipe and then puts the one that you created into your recipe box. So any recipe you edit can always be found in your recipe box.
Yes, exactly. So in your recipe box, you've got recipes that you edit, like Abigail mentioned, and you can also add your own recipes. So if you like to do a little bit of recipe development when you are in social isolation, maybe you can stock up your recipe box with all of your own creations. Or if you just have a recipe that you've been recommending to your clients for a long time and that they really love, but that we don't have in our database, you can add your own recipe. It can include a photo, but it doesn't have to include a photo. So don't stress about it if you're not a food photographer. That is not necessary. And the great thing about adding your own recipes is they behave exactly the same as any other recipe in That Clean Life. So for example, if you've got some kind of healthy apple pie recipe and it's based on maybe like a coconut flour pastry, as you start adding in the ingredients, you're going to notice that on the right hand side, keep an eye on it guys, the nutrition information is going to start automatically calculating per serving. So if you have been recommending clients to your recipes to your clients for a while and you don't have nutrition information on those recipes, this is a really great way to get it without having to pay for nutrition analysis software, which is very, very pricey. And once you have fully added this recipe in and saved it, all of the ingredients for the recipe will be added to your shopping list when you put them on your meal plan, and it will also be stored forever in your recipe box as well. So you've got our recipe database, you've got the ability to modify any of our recipes to change the grains to a more paleo alternative or change the ground meat into lentils, and you can add your own recipes. So whatever your clients need to be eating or you want to recommend them to eat is very easy to put together using That Clean Life. And we already talked about creating a meal plan which is great, an awesome resource, but we know that not everyone's going to need a meal plan, and maybe you don't want to create a meal plan for everybody. Or let's be realistic too, for a lot of us right now, maybe you're not getting a ton of new clients and you're pivoting in the way that you're supporting your community. So instead of creating meal plans, you can also create recipe books. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about that. I've already started a whole collection of immune supportive meal ideas. So I've got 7 recipes in here now. And the way that I created this was exactly the same as what I just showed you. So I went to the recipe filters, and then I was looking for recipes that were high in vitamin A, high in vitamin C, zinc, maybe folate. Folate's a good immune nutrient. And filter those recipes. And then from there, you can just add in whatever recipes are looking like they'd be super helpful to a collection. Now, with recipe collections or cookbooks, whether you're using it as a lead magnet, giving it to a client, giving it to your community, I always like to add in a few different options for different meals. So you could do a recipe collection of only dinner recipes or only snack ideas, but I'm going to be adding breakfast, lunch, and dinner recipes that are high in immune supportive nutrients for this recipe book I'm creating. And you can open the recipe, have a look at it, and add it to a collection from within the recipe. Or like I just showed you, you can do that right from this recipe database page. So you can just click on the 3 dots, add to collection, and then add to immune supportive meal ideas. Now, I've walked you guys through a lot of different things that you're doing with That Clean Life, but That Clean Life is a practitioner-facing software. So you guys are logging in, you're creating this stuff for your clients. How do you actually get it to your clients? What do they actually see? Let me walk you through that now. So first example, we've got Ava's immune supportive meal plan. Let's say you've wrapped it up, you are ready to send it to her. When that time comes, you click on this export button, and you have a couple of options. So first of all, you can download the PDF right to your computer, or you can email it directly to Ava. I prefer the download option. If you're using a EHR software, or if you're sending anything else to your client, like their session notes or any handouts, you'll probably want to use this option as well. And then you always get to decide what you show your client. So in this case, we're going to include the meal plan, the shopping list, the recipe notes, and you'll see nutrition is grayed out, but I'm gonna select that, add a green check mark to it. So I'm gonna show Ava the nutrition information for her meals and for her meal plan, because I want her to see the actual quantities she's getting of those immune supporting nutrients we talked about. From here, you can add a cover page if you want to. Just pick a recipe that you think looks particularly beautiful and exciting. And then you can add any notes to your client. So right here, what I'm going to do is just use our snippet. That Clean Life members, if you're kind of dazing off, listen up, because you might not know about this feature and it's very important. So we have some templates saved that you can use to save yourself some time when you're sending new clients their meal plan. My favorite is this client meal plan introduction. So this explains to your client how to use their meal plan without you having to write it all out. So I'm just adding Ava's name, and then it's going to walk her through grocery list tips, explain how to read her meal plan, what it means when a recipe is grayed out, shopping, how to use those leftovers, and then I'm just going to add my little sign off. In health, Ashley. And then I'm going to start this export download. I'm not going to make you guys wait. I've actually done this in advance. So I'm going to show you what Ava is going to receive. So Ava's getting this PDF meal plan. She can open it on her phone. She can open it on her tablet. However Ava likes to get her information, she's covered. For her, it's as easy as opening an email from you. And we've got this beautiful, delicious looking cover page, which is already getting her excited to eat her immune boosting recipes. Everything's branded with your logo and business info. Remember, at the beginning, I uploaded that. We've got her notes. So this is the pre-written notes that I used from That Clean Life, but you can write your own. You can include links if you're recommending specific products you want her to purchase. You can send her to your online store or whatever you like. And then we've got this recipe or this meal plan that we created with all the recipe photos. her nutrition information. This is optional, guys. Remember, I had to specifically select that I wanted to include it. And then her shopping list. So right now, no one is super stoked on grocery shopping. You want to get in and get out as fast as possible. Having an itemized list makes that easy. And then it goes straight into her recipes. Most importantly, all the recipes have a delicious food photo, because I don't know about you guys, but if I get a recipe that doesn't have a picture, I have no motivation to actually try it out. Nutrition info is also included on the recipes. Again, that is because I said I wanted that. If you don't want it, it won't be included. So that's the meal plan. Before I move on to show you what the recipe books look like, do we have any questions? Are we all good with that?
Yes, we have a lot of questions. So I'll stop you there. Okay, first is, can you go over snippets again? Because a lot of people are asking, how did you pop that text in? Some people are saying, can you share this PDF text? We have built this all into that Clean Life so that you can quickly add this. We have some templates that you can add in manually. So Ash, do you want to just go over that real quick again?
So I'm going to delete this right now. So right now I've got my brief box. It is empty. So you've got a couple of options. First of all, if you find that you're saying the same things to clients over and over, like for example, if you do a lot of candida cleanses in your practice and you have a specific set of notes that you always give to your clients who are on this protocol, when you type it into your brief, you can click create snippet. So I'm going to put all this info back here. Click create snippet. And then you just give it a title and save it. So when you do this, you are saving what you have just written to apply to any meal plan in the future. So you can create your own snippets. We'll call this Candida Diet. We also have snippets that we have created. So those are called templates. So instead of clicking create snippet, you're going to click on view. This is what you do when you want to add a snippet that's already been saved. Under my snippets, you can see the Candida Diet snippet that I just added. You can see a couple others that I have saved. And then you can click on template up at the top. These are the ones that are included for all that Clean Life members. So if you don't have any saved in your account right now, these are the ones that you can use. So the client meal plan introduction, that's what I used in this meal plan for Ava. So I'm clicking add template or apply template. And then all I did here was just add her name. Everything else is already written. And this is the text that is preloaded into that Clean Life. Of course, you can make modifications to it. So if you wanted to make your client meal plan introduction a little bit different, you could customize it. And then before you export, you would click create snippet and give it a title so it's saved forever.
Cool. And Anne Marie is asking, can you delete self-created snippets? Yes, you can. You do that through your account settings. So just head into where it says your profile and click on that. And there's an area where you can manage your snippets if you want to show her that real quick.
It's under preferences. So under snippets, you can see all of these snippets, including the ones that I just added. And then you can go ahead and delete a snippet, or you can edit it from right here.
Amazing. Okay. Other question was, can you explain the difference between a meal plan and a collection?
So with a meal plan, you're actually giving a day-by-day, meal-by-meal recommendation of what your client should eat. So you're telling them breakfast, snack, lunches, dinners, other snacks, multiple snacks. We're big fans of multiple snacks here at That Clean Life. And probably the biggest difference, in addition to the fact that they're getting this grid with everything laid out, is that you're using servings, you're using leftovers, and based on all of that information, you're getting a shopping list. So you're always going to have this shopping list. You don't have to include it for your client, but you definitely can. It's already created regardless, based on everything that you added to the meal plan. Whereas with the collection, you aren't using leftovers, you aren't setting specific servings. All of the recipes are just included like a cookbook. So you're basically giving your client a cookbook versus a meal plan. There's no shopping list. There's no laid out grid view of exactly what meal to eat, what snack to eat on what day.
Cool. And the other question about, it kind of was related to collections, but also a meal plan. Somebody's asking if they can create a recipe book that has a grocery list. So I just kind of wanted to highlight, if you export a collection, it'll just be recipes. If you want to export a recipe book with a grocery list, the best way to do that would be through your planner. And when you export the plan, Ashley, if you could just show them now, hit the export button. All you want to do is deselect the meal plan so that it doesn't come up. And then you can choose whether you want to include the list. So that way you're sending them the recipes and you're sending them the list, but you're not sending them that meal plan grid.
Exactly. Yes.
And then we had another question about when you enter recipes into your recipe box. Yes, you can import recipes, and yes, you can add your own photos. And yes, the recipes that you put into the recipe box will remain private and can only be seen by you. So those we can't see them. Those don't become a part of our recipes. All the recipes you see under recipes are developed by our team. Anything in your recipe box is something that you've added or you've modified. And then we had a question about low carb. So kind of heading back into the filters, Ash. Do you want to just show where you would search for low carb using the filters?
Yes. So just like with any of the nutrients that I already highlighted, if you're looking for low carb recipes, we don't have a filter for low carb. We do have a filter for ketogenic. So if you wanted to search for like really low carb recipes, you can use the ketogenic filter, but low carb means different things to different people. So in that case, what you can do is actually specify exactly what it means to you. So you could search for recipes that have a maximum perhaps of 20 grams of carbs. You could search for recipes that have between 10 and 30 grams of carbs. If you are working with diabetic patients, you might want to set a carb maximum, and you also might want to set a fiber minimum. So you could be searching for recipes that have between 10 and 30 grams of carbs, but at least 5 of which have to be fiber. And you can save this as your own low carb search. So once you've decided what low carb means to you in your practice and you've applied that filter, I'm going to show you how to save this forever. So you can see all of the recipes that fit that 10 to 30 gram carbs, minimum 5 gram fiber criteria. I'm going to click bookmarks. I'm going to click create bookmark, and I'm going to call this low carb. Okay. So that's created. Anytime you are logging into that Clean Life looking for low carb recipes, you will click on bookmarks and you will apply this bookmark that you've saved. It will include all of the recipes that have been added since you created that bookmark. So you'll see new recipes every single time. And then you can get even more specific. So you have that carbohydrate range saved. And then if you're also working with a client who needs to be low carb and dairy free, for example, you can add on top of that. Those extra additions will not be saved, but you can do that on a client-to-client basis. Hopefully that helps. You're mute, Abby.
Classic. While you have the filters open, can you, somebody was asking that they're serving diabetic patients, but then they're also looking for immune boosting recipes. So can you show them how you would apply something like the low glycemic tag along with nutrition filters?
Yeah, so I would, in that case, like Abigail said, apply the low glycemic tag. We also have a sugar-free tag, which eliminates all added sugars, which can be really helpful for diabetes. So I'm going to do low glycemic and sugar-free, and I'm going to say minimum 5 grams of fiber per recipe, maximum 45 grams of carbohydrates. And I also want recipes that are high-ish in vitamin C, vitamin A, and zinc. You can get even more specific, guys. Honestly, this is the whole point of that Clean Life, is if you want to sit here for 5 minutes and find recipes that are within a really specific nutrient range or specific carbs or a specific macro range, you have all the ability to do that. So just because these are the examples I'm using doesn't mean that has to be what you would use for immune boosting. But then we've got 50 recipes to choose from for this diabetic client who also needs immune boosting recipes with those nutrients of interest.
Okay. And then The other question was, are you guys going to be adding more vegan recipes? And I think, Ashley, you said this at the beginning when you were going through the recipe gallery. We actually add new recipes pretty much every week. If we miss a week, we always try to bulk add them. So some of you guys might have noticed that a few weeks ago, we added 45 recipes, and then we didn't add any for a few weeks because we were working on something that we couldn't add any recipes for. So we always add new ones pretty much every week. There's an odd time we have to miss a week, but like I said, constantly adding new ones so that no matter what your dietary preference is, like if you're looking for vegan recipes, we try to release kind of a mix because you guys are working with all different dietary requirements. So we have to please everybody here. So we do our best to do that. And I think, the last question that's really important for right now and kind of the reason why we're doing this webinar in the first place is a lot of your clients don't have access to food right now, right? Like if that's you, let us know in the chat box if your clients don't have much access to fresh food and you're kind of wondering what to do with your meal plan. So Kimberly's already saying yes, no access. So I was wondering, Ashley, if you could quickly show us using the filters, like how to search for recipes that have non-perishable food items.
Yeah. So when you're looking for recipes, you can specify which ingredients you want included in your recipes. This is so helpful if you are looking for recipes to use up things that are, like canned items or frozen items. Whatever you put in this include ingredients box, all the recipes have to include all of those ingredients. So this isn't a place to type all of the foods that your clients should be consuming, because you're probably not going to find recipes that contain, for example, ground beef and haddock and organic bacon, or contain lentils and frozen shrimp and whatever. But you can definitely search for recipes that contain common staples. This is so helpful if you're creating a recipe book or a meal plan and you want the recipes to have consistent ingredients. So I'm going to search for recipes that contain red lentils and diced tomatoes, because those are common, inexpensive items that I think at least most of the people I know typically have on hand in their pantry. And then we're going to see what we can work with from here. All right, right off the bat, we've got 2 recipes with both of these ingredients. And then what you can do is have a look. This one also uses organic coconut milk, which is a canned item, vegetable broth, which is something that can easily be replaced with water, or is something that might be in some people's pantries. And then kale leaves, which, as we all know, is a really common item to find in the freezer section as well. So this would be an awesome recipe to put on a meal plan or share with somebody who's looking for things that they can create from their pantry. Like I already showed you, you can add any notes or make any modifications you want. So if you wanted to, you can go ahead and actually specify with this kale ingredient, finely sliced. You could leave that in and say comma frozen, or you could just change it to frozen. And then the same goes for actual frozen vegetables. Like we have lots of recipes that use type in frozen and you'll see frozen berries, frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower, frozen corn, frozen edamame. So any frozen or canned ingredients that you're looking for recipes that contain them, you can use the filters to search for that. So let's look for recipes that contain frozen berries, for example. And then from here, you can determine what would be appropriate. Berry baked oatmeal using oats from the pantry and berries from the freezer. This is a good quarantine food. Weird to be saying that. I didn't think we'd be doing a webinar about quarantine foods in 2020.
It feels surreal.
It doesn't feel real, but here we are. And we've got content to support you guys.
Okay. And actually, this is as good of time as any to let you guys know that this week we were busy preparing for you guys a non-perishable foods program. And we just released this morning, so nobody knows about it except you guys. It's under your programs tab now for you guys to use. It's a 7-day meal plan with non-perishable food items. Everything can be made using things in your pantry or frozen foods. We'll be sending out a whole email announcement about that tomorrow morning, and we'll do another training next week on how to use that. So you guys are the first to know that's there for you under the programs tab.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of happy people about that. Thank you so much. We actually released a blog post last week about non-perishable foods. It was a roundup blog, and the feedback that you guys gave us was so positive that we knew that we could create a meal plan from those. So thank you guys for letting us know that that's helpful, because that helps us know what to create for you next. So thank you all. Sorry, Ashley, I know I totally derailed your demo with a gazillion questions there. What do we have left?
Okay, so we got one more thing to cover, but guys, like, feel free to add more questions if you have them. And I showed you what your client sees when they receive a meal plan. The last thing I just want to show you is what they see when they receive a recipe book, because I know a lot of you guys are using That Clean Life this way. So we put together this immune supportive meal ideas collection. So when you want to create a recipe book, you start with a collection, add all of the recipes into the collection, and then you can click export. So one really important thing to note, guys, up to 50 recipes in a recipe book. Over 50 recipes, we can't put that many into a recipe book because it would mess with the size of the file and your client probably wouldn't even be able to receive it, which we don't want happening. So up to 50 recipes, I've got 10. I'm going to show you snippets one more time because I actually created a snippet specifically for this recipe book. So I'm going into view all. I'm selecting my immune supportive recipe book snippet that I saved earlier. And I've got the information that I wrote here just about different nutrients that support the immune system, explaining to the people who are going to get this recipe book what it's for, why it matters, some other tips about boosting immune response. So making sure to drink lots of fluids, making sure to have healthy sleep habits. And like I mentioned, you can include links. So I've included a link for more information or how to get in touch with me to learn about my services to anybody who's interested in more support at this time. So this is a really great, we're going to talk a little bit later about just ideas to support your community right now, but whether you're creating a lead magnet or running a challenge or just trying to put something out there to create brand awareness and support your community at this time, please guys, always have a call to action. Always lead them back to your services page or to book an appointment with you or to let them know what they can do to take the next step. Especially if you're providing something for free, you are always, always allowed and encouraged to include some kind of offer at the end of that. So we're going to export this and I'm going to show you what your client actually sees. So just like with the meal plan, it starts off with this beautiful cover page that I selected, always branded with your business info. You can see the little snippet that I created with some information about why these recipes are helpful for immune health and how to get in touch with me if you want to learn more about supporting your body with nourishing food during this virus time. And then straight into the recipes. So always recipes have a photo. They tell you how long it takes to make them, how many servings the recipe makes, ingredients, directions, and then this time I included some notes in case they want to see different options, substitute ingredients, make a vegetarian version, or what have you. All the recipes have your logo, your website, and your name on them. This is great because if your client or lead shares this with somebody in their network, be it a friend or family member, that person is going to now have you on their radar. So if I could tell you one piece of advice for 2020, don't order more business cards. Don't do it, guys. Business cards are dead. If you're going to be sharing something, make sure that it adds value. Your client is not going to put your business card on their fridge, but they will sure as heck put your delicious breakfast recipe on their fridge and use it day after day. So this is a way more effective way of creating brand awareness and staying top of mind for people. And I think that's everything that I wanted to show you guys from a demo perspective. We covered recipes, meal plans, recipe books, adding your own recipes, lots of different stuff. Were there any other questions that rolled in?
I don't think so. We have a lot of interest in that immunity collection you just put together, Ashley. We're going to send you guys all the replay after this wraps up, so you can see exactly how Ashley created that collection in 3 seconds, and then you guys can create the exact same collection too. And just to kind of give you the inside scoop here as well, we are working on a post that will round up immune boosting recipes according to science. We want to make sure that this is evidence-based, so we're working on that right now so that we can bring you guys that in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Okay, it is almost 10 to 3. So what we wanted to do before we send you guys on your merry way here is we wanted to cover some super actionable ways that you can use all of this, that you can use that clean life right now to help you keep your clients engaged and even attract new clients. So we have compiled a list of, I think there's about 7 tactics that you guys can take and get started with as soon as this is done, in order to keep growing your business in these kind of uncertain times, because I know you guys are all feeling a little bit worried and stressed out. So we're here to support you, and yeah, we're going to go over some ideas. So if that sounds good to you guys and you guys are still up for staying 10 more minutes, give us a yes in the chat so we know we're good to continue. Oh, I see that chat box lighting up. Awesome. Thank you guys. Okay. So number 1, you can use that clean life to create resources and run a group program. So an example that would be great right now is a 3-week healthy non-perishable meals program. So you would create the meal plans on that clean life. You can export them with a grocery list, recipes, and the meal plan all in that beautiful PDF that Ashley sent you. And then you set the price to participate. I see some questions coming through about pricing right now. Let's not get into that today. We can run something else down the road about pricing. Actually, no, that's a lie. We won't, because we just recorded a whole video on nutrition for your business about pricing. So you guys need to go and watch that. I think it's episode 2. How many of you guys are watching Nutrition for Your Business that Ashley and I recorded? If not, we can send that with the replay. Yeah. Okay. You guys are all into it. Amazing. So there's a whole episode on pricing. So that walks you through how to price something like a group program very intentionally and with confidence, so that you can cover your expenses and earn a profit too. So with a group program, really simple. Don't overcomplicate this. All you need is a meal plan that you can create on that clean life. A lot of you guys are already members. And then just open up a Facebook group and collect your payments, however you collect payments, and run it. It's pretty straightforward. Now is not the time to get tripped up in logistics, guys. Mm-hmm. Now is the time to act quick. I saw something the other day called Survival of the Quickest, and that's about where we're at right now. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know. We're here to help.
Yes. Okay. So that's a great paid offering, but right now is also a really good time to run a free challenge. So that's another way that you can use that clean life to support your community right now. A great example of this would be to run a 1-week freezer challenge, where you're going into that clean life, you're creating a whole either meal plan or recipe book centered around frozen foods, freezer meals that you can batch cook and then freeze and use later. For those of you guys who are members, we have a slow cooker black bean soup, which is totally minimal ingredients. You can make like 15 servings of it and then throw them in the freezer, and it's awesome. So using something like that, it's a great way to get your community to know, like, and trust you. And then at the end of that challenge, like I said, call to action. Let them know how they can continue working with you, keep up the momentum, and present a paid offering, like, for example, a group program that Abigail just mentioned.
Okay, so we did group nutrition programs, a free challenge. I saw somebody said, what do you do when you're working with clients who are struggling financially? Consider running a free challenge with a lower priced group program at the end of it. That's a really good idea. Mm-hmm. Number 3, provide more value to your clients one-on-one. So that clean life is a really great way for you guys who are just new to transitioning your businesses online. Be sure to be using that clean life with your one-on-one clients. It's a really easy way to provide more value. And like I said at the beginning of this, especially right now when clients are struggling, they're at home, some of them don't even usually cook. This is a great way to show them that they can still cook healthy meals with non-perishable items that they have that are really delicious. So it is totally up to you with your one-on-one clients, whether you want to charge an additional fee for meal planning or whether you just want to offer it as a core part of your services. We have seen practitioners be successful with both methods. There's no right or wrong answer. We've seen people charge $80 for a 1-week meal plan on top of their regular fee, like it's an add-on, or we've seen people who it's just part of what their clients get. Totally up to you. It depends on so many factors. So that's just something you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of. But if you have that clean life, make sure you're using it with your one-on-one clients.
Yes. And Kathleen, shout out to you. She dropped in the chat box. Just remember that not everyone is struggling financially. Use that to keep you going. This is so important because this is sort of something that Abigail and I have noticed. Just because some people are struggling financially does not mean you throw in the towel with your business and completely give up, guys. There are tons of people like us who have always worked from home and who aren't necessarily getting laid off and losing their jobs right now. There are people who are so grateful for this time and taking the opportunity to focus on themselves and slow down and get their health right. People learning to cook for the first time in their whole lives. So don't think that just because we are in the middle of something that's really complicated and frustrating, and there are people that are struggling, that you have to throw in the towel, because there are still a bunch of ways to show up and help. One of the ways, so number 4 on our list, is hosting online workshops. This is huge right now, and you have 2 ways to go about this. One is that you can use this as a free workshop for the purpose of building brand awareness during this time. So you can host a workshop teaching people who have never cooked how to cook, teaching people how to soak their beans or how to sprout if they can't get to the grocery store and get fresh vegetables. You can make sprouts with just a bag of lentils you've had in your cupboard for a year. Take the time to teach people how to do that. You can also run a paid workshop. So if it's not about brand awareness, turn it into a revenue stream. If you would have taught something as a paid workshop in person, there's no reason that you can't teach that online. So you can use that Clean Life to create handouts. You can create recipe books. You can create full meal plans to support your workshops. And then, like Abigail said, don't get tripped up on the logistics. Just go to Eventbrite or Universe and set up an event, and then use that to sell tickets to people, and then send them an email welcoming them when they register with everything that they need for the workshop. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah, definitely not. Okay, next idea, and this is one I've been seeing a lot of, and maybe you guys are seeing it too. So how many of you guys are seeing all these fitness professionals taking their classes online on Instagram? I see so many Instagram lives of people doing free fitness classes. So you guys are seeing this too. It's insane. I think it's so cool the way the fitness industry has pivoted really fast. And what happened last week, a lot of them were running free classes on Instagram Live. This week, what I'm seeing is a lot of them are starting to take them off of Instagram Live and are charging for them. So virtual classes for a subscription fee. So I would encourage you guys, if you're not fitness professionals yourselves, I know some of you are, to look for these people, to partner up with them. If they're offering some kind of subscription or membership to virtual classes, pair up with a fitness professional or somebody similar, even another health professional that's offering something like this, and see where you can provide more value through nutrition and providing weekly meal plans that will keep them motivated from the nutrition side of things. Because I see a lot of stuff happening in fitness, but not so much happening in nutrition. And guys, people need both. So this is where you guys can really stand up and take the lead here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you don't necessarily have to partner up with someone to take advantage of that subscription model that Abigail just mentioned. So creating a weekly meal planning subscription is one of the items on our list, because this is, first of all, I mean, holler in the chat box if you've always wanted to offer some kind of subscription recurring revenue model in your business. We get questions about this all the time. And now that you might not be getting as many one-on-one client inquiries, this is a great time to focus on building something like that. And given the current climate, there's a lot of people who are at home who are cooking for themselves, like I mentioned, for the first time. There's a lot of people who have been relying on takeout or just going out to restaurants all the time or eating lunch at work if they have a work cafeteria or lunch supplied at work. And suddenly they're at home and they have time to cook. You can support these people with a subscription service, teaching them how to cook. Every week can focus on a different staple ingredient. Maybe you work with clients who are in a specific niche and you want to offer low carb came up, a low carb meal planning service, how to eat low carb at home. So you're not, relying on maybe pasta and dried beans that I've mentioned a million times. There are other staple foods that are lower carb that they might not be necessarily as aware of. So take advantage of this extra time to work on your business when you're not stuck working in your business, and you can develop something like an ongoing subscription service and start marketing that right now.
And we have a whole episode on that coming up on nutrition for your business. So keep an eye on that, because Ashley and I are going to break that down into a lot more detail. Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to point out, guys, is that you can use that Clean Life to create something like a freebie, like say 5 smoothie recipes that can be made from items you have in your freezer or pantry. Send that out to your clients, to your mailing list. Let them know that you've created this for them as a gift, and also let them know that you're still up and running. It's your business is still going. Let them know about any programs or services you currently are offering. Let them know that you're still here for them, even though it seems like the rest of the world is shutting down. You have the ability to serve people online. So make sure your clients know that. And I think creating them something like a free smoothie recipe book that I just mentioned would be a really great excuse to reach out to people and let them know that. So that way you're providing value and also letting them know that you're here for them. So we just went over 7 ideas really quickly. Let us know in the chat box which one of these resonates with you. So we talked about group programs, we talked about free challenges, we talked about using that Clean Life more with your one-on-one clients, online workshops or cooking classes, teaming up with fitness professionals, creating a weekly meal planning subscription service, which I know a lot of people could use right now, myself included, and also creating a freebie to reach out to clients and let them know you're still up and running as usual. So let us know in the chat which of these topics resonates with you, which you're going to take away and start acting on right now to keep the momentum going. Also, if you are kind of not sure about these topics, but you want to hear more, let us know in the chat box if you'd like us to dive deeper into it, or if you'd like us to send out something with more resources, because we're happy to help you guys with that as well. Okay, how is everybody feeling after this webinar? We're coming up on time. It's almost 1 minute away from 3. So I hope this gave you guys a lot of inspiration. I see a lot of people are loving the ideas we gave you. Let us know how you're feeling after this. I hope if you came into this kind of feeling frustrated, you're feeling awesome. I hope if you came into this feeling awesome, you're feeling even more awesome. I hope you guys are excited to keep things going, because we're keeping things going. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep helping you through this. This is a blip in time. We're all going to come out of this the other side together. And we're here to get you guys the resources you need. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Ashley, Tabitha, myself, we're all here for you. If there's anything else we can create or release for you, let us know. And yeah, let's end things there today, guys. I know we didn't get to end all your questions, but we're going to go back through the chat to pull out what we can. And if you need help right away, you can always email us if you're a member at support@thatcleanlife.com. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming out today. Thank you, Ashley, for being here with me. And we'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.